What's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we have Jeffry Wiesinger with Jeffry's Barbecue Country. Oh, man, I blew that. Daggone it.
You're getting there, buddy.
I know. I knew I was going to slay that. Gosh darn it. Anyways, we got Jeffry Wine Country Barbecue.
That's right.
So you got that little place over there in Norma's Way in Paso Robles, and you have just been doing awesome. And how long have you been here?
Restaurant's coming up on 6 years. Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
This is
Yeah,
great,
thanks for
great.
being here, man. Sorry I slated your name there. God dang it. I knew that was
Jeffry
going to
Wiesinger.
Jeffry Wiesinger. We got that.
I got the plates on. Chef Jeff. Chef Jeff has been
Chef Jeff.
If we're doing the
Jeff.
show.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, thanks for coming on because, like I said, I mean, I know you're busy. You know, I mean, we just had Restaurant Month, right? Which hopefully that was super busy for you. We'll jump into that. I know, I mean, just the restaurant industry in the North County, the catering. I mean, just you do a lot, and you're part of a lot of things.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on in this community.
Right.
You want to keep up with there's so many great organizations from the wine industry to the educational foundations that, keeping the kids involved in so many activities. That's what we are all about. We opened the restaurant to be a local kind of family-friendly kind of spot, and we're coming up on 6 years. June, it'll be 6 years. Father's Day weekend, we opened in 2018.
Now, did you? I mean, are you native to the Central
Californian.
Coast?
I'm a native Californian.
Okay.
I moved here in 2007.
Okay.
I was living in Mammoth Lakes.
Okay.
But I grew up in Thousand Oaks. So growing up in Thousand Oaks, Ventura County. We're just, a stone's throw up the road. So it is kind of cool seeing how many Ventura County folks have been coming up to Paso more and through social media we're getting a lot of love and attention from my hometown. But I went to college in Rhode Island.
Oh, wow. For culinary?
Culinary arts
Okay.
and food service. I have a bachelor's degree in food service management and culinary arts. Yeah, growing up in Thousand Oaks, I got to spend every summer in Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, nice.
Started at about 15 years old. My grandparents moved to Yellowstone to be seasonal, post-retired workers. And
like ranch caretakers type thing?
No, like working in the general store and the little cafe they had in Yellowstone and a lot of the national parks. They have these, kind of little general store areas where you can go in and go into the grill and get your burger and your sandwich and get your apparel and your clothing and your camp store. So yeah, it was great for retired folks, college kids, and teachers would go up there during the summer and kind of run the concessions and live in one of the most beautiful parts of the country.
Yeah.
So at 15 years old, I was able to get up there and start as a dishwasher. Got to work with some retired chefs. There was a military chef and a chef that was formally trained at a culinary school. So at 15, man, it's kind of crazy.
That's where you got the bug?
The bug that bit me.
Really?
Then 15, 16, 17, all summers in high school, from dishwashing to then serving to cooking. You come into my restaurant, and I have a great picture on the wall on the shelf there of my grandfather overlooking me as I'm cracking cracking an egg and making my first omelet in the restaurant.
That's
so yeah,
really
that was all
awesome.
the summers, and it really gets you kind of. I was fortunate, a lot of kids, a lot of people, grown folks are still trying to find what their path is. But I got bit by the culinary arts bug, if you will, early on, and 30 years later, man.
So Jeffry's Wine Country Barbecue.
Right.
Barbecue, obviously, that was obviously you do a lot more than just, barbecue stuff. But, I mean, was that kind of like your initial, path going down the barbecue lane?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. From culinary school, heading back, I was in the ski resort business, working in chefing in hotels. I've been in Mammoth and Steamboat Springs, Colorado, Vail, Colorado, Lake Tahoe. And throughout my early career in my 20s, it's all been about Mediterranean-influenced cuisine. So if you notice that all the regions of the world that produce wine also know how to eat really well. The farm to table movement to a certain degree. I mean, all food is farm to table, so I've never really jumped on that. But it's always been Mediterranean-influenced food and wine pairings. So throughout my career, it's always been about pairing really good locally sourced food with great locally produced wines. So I moved to Paso in 2007, to start Jeffrey's Catering.
But let me stop you right there, Jeffrey. What brought you to why did you focus on Paso?
Good question. Yeah, I was living in Mammoth. My dad, who's also named Jeffrey, Papa Jeff, we call him. Papa Jeff moved to Paso in about 2005. So growing up in Thousand Oaks, my dad's always been a big wine guy. He's a respiratory therapist for his career, but always a passionate hobby for him. So I was super stoked and proud of him when he decided in 2005 to make the move, get out of the hustle and bustle of Southern California, come up to Paso Robles.
And you're like, Paso Robles? Yeah. What's in Paso Robles?
I mean, I remember driving through it, 35 years ago and seeing the longhorn steer on the side of the road as we're taking the family vacation up to Oregon or something like that. But I mean, you think back in 2005, where Paso was on the California scene, the national scene, and it was halfway between LA and San Francisco. And I'm living in Mammoth, and we have shoulder seasons in Mammoth. Summer's great, winter is huge. But I started coming to Paso to see what the old man's got going on. He bought a place. He wanted to put a small vineyard on his property. So I came to Paso for Zin Fest, Wine Fest weekends, just to kind of start hanging out here. And at the same time, I'm up in Mammoth, and all of the, I shouldn't say all of them, but a fair amount of the wineries are sending their sales reps up and hitting me up. I was the executive chef of a few different restaurants, from the Mammoth Mountain Inn, McCoy Station on the side of the mountain, or you take the gondola up. But a girlfriend at the time was also a sommelier. So between these, it was a cool connection. It was a cool connection with the old man, my pops, moving to Paso to pursue his passion, and then sales reps come in and trying to sell us on Paso wine. And it was about 2006, 2007. We're coming off of record-breaking ski seasons. And then 2007, we had 2006, 2007 was a slower season. I got laid off at the restaurant that ended up closing.
Oh, wow. And you were the executive chef.
I was the executive chef.
Wow.
And at that point, I had been all over the ski industry for the most part in some of the best places, from Vail and Steamboat Springs to Tahoe and Mammoth. And in the wonderful town of Mammoth Lakes, in my career path, I'd kind of hit the top as far as executive chef for the Mammoth Mountain Inn on the mountain, a killer restaurant in the village, and all right, it's time.
And those are all top shelf
for
things.
Sure. I mean, we're doing Mediterranean influenced food, food from Italy, Spain, France. California cuisine has really kind of been a staple, and California cuisine is exactly what it sounds like: sourcing local ingredients, pairing it with local wines, having a good old local time, So, leaving that position, and I'm like, am I going to go back to Vail, or am I going to go back to Tahoe? I'm like, let's go see what Dad's got going on. So I came here in 2007 and moved in with him for the first couple months, probably pushing a year, and had some really great opportunities. Going back to some history, I helped open Hearst Castle. They did, in 2007, they did a whole revision of their food service facility, their cafeteria, if you will, in the visitor center.
Right there in the entry.
Yeah.
Wait,
Right when you walk in the visitor center, there's a great cafeteria, and we turned it into a food court. And that was my background of you go up and get your burger at your burger station, get your pizza, get your, go to the stations, as opposed to the idea of just like cattle calling through a cafeteria line. So I got this great opportunity to help the Hearst Castle folks. Met some really cool people during that process, and that process actually allowed me to get back into the consulting world, and sent me out to Colorado to work for the Colorado Rockies during the 2007 World Series.
Oh, wow.
So had some really cool experiences right when I first moved to town with Hearst Castle and working for the Rockies, and then opened a few restaurants. So you've been in town for how long now?
Ever.
Forever.
I've been in the. I mean, I'm born and raised in North County.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the world traveling. Like a lot of people do. I went from Atascadero to Templeton. That's about it. So
North County
my world
living,
traveling.
man.
Yeah,
it's such
but
it's
not
such
only
a great
that, you also
community.
have the Hearst Ranch, the beef.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
So you kind of got
the
dialed in.
relationships that I built early on with the Hearst Ranch folks and with the company Aramark that was running the food concessions, and just some of the local vendors. Got to meet some of our local produce vendors. Definitely the wine sales reps were all about it. But it was during that time, 07, 08, if you go back a couple Paso Robles institutions for a period of time, the Wine Attic. The Wine Attic started above Di Raimondo's, which is actually across the alley from us. Then it moved over to the Thomas Hill Organics location. So where Thomas Hill Organics restaurant is in Paso now, when I moved to town in, like I said, 07, 08, it was called the Wine Attic. And that's where I kind of got my first hands into having Jeffrey's Catering, working at this Wine Attic. It was a wine shop. It was a cafe. And then there was another great spot called Level 4.
Right underground?
Remember Level 4?
Yeah, Sorrentino's place.
Sorrentino, yeah. That's where Justin and I met. Shout out to the Sorrentino family.
Yeah, that was actually, I mean, again, we talk about businesses that before their time.
Yeah.
That would be exploded right now.
No doubt about it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, if a Level 4 concept open, I mean, those folks at Hemingway's tried it a little bit, but they didn't have what we had at Level 4.
Oh, that's nice.
But again, ahead of its time, and one of the best culinary teams I'd ever worked with. We were all young. I was 30 years old, and I was the sous chef, which is like the assistant chef or the number 2, and I was like the oldest guy in the whole operation. I'm a few years old, or I guess I'm a year or so older than the Sorrentino and the owner team. So yeah, we had that going for a little while. Did some consulting. Another probably the biggest start was Vinoteca Wine Bar.
Okay.
You guys remember Vinoteca Wine Bar? That's now where La Cosecha is there now, right on the park on 12th Street, long, beautiful brick wall. And that was a wine bar. It was Paso's original wine bar. The previous owner was really involved in the community. Again, she's going back to early 2000s, so you talk about ahead of its time when you think 20-some years ago. And then in about 08, new owners came in, and they were from New Jersey, Pennsylvania area by way of Orange County. And I have a connection with the East Coast. I went to college in Rhode Island and spent some time out on Cape Cod, and I opened a restaurant in New Jersey right before 9/11, actually.
Oh, wow.
So had this kind of East Coast connection. Another little side story is I was the food and beverage director at the Carlton Hotel in Atascadero for 6-7 months or so.
Back when the Wyrex had it?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a interesting experience to say the least. But it was also kind of I'm just getting to town, putting my feelers out to see what's this community all about. Working at the Carlton, and then I was going into work some days in my chef coat, and some days in a shirt and tie, and playing the
just different hats,
front of the house, food and beverage guy, and kind of meeting the customer base. Found out what a cool, interesting community downtown Atascadero was at that time. It's blown up now. That's amazing seeing that change. But it was during that time that I got this opportunity to go to Vinoteca, and that's kind of what a lot of folks. That's where I started my catering business for sure. We started entering some of these charity fundraiser, culinary competitions. So I ran Jeffrey's Catering for about 10 years.
Before having a brick and mortar?
Yeah. Ran it out of Grey Wolf. You're familiar with the Barton family and what they've evolved their property. Talk about they've done such a fantastic job. But back in so this was 2013, 14, 15. Started renting a kitchen space, and if you go out to Barton family property, they have the distillery on the property. There's a winery on the property, and Joe built a great kitchen. And our story goes back to Joe and I meeting in Mammoth. So he used to come
No
up to
kidding.
Mammoth. He used to come
Wow.
up to Mammoth and trying to sell some Grey Wolf wines, and he was a great ambassador of Paso Robles wine country in Mammoth Lakes. So we met in Mammoth, and then the time came where, hey man, I want to build a kitchen. I'd love to get you in here. So I started renting his kitchen, running Jeffrey's catering out of that, doing winery events and charity fundraisers and Chamber of Commerce events, and just really getting out into the community as much as I could, getting my
name
brand,
out.
getting the brand
Yeah.
out there, man. Cooking, doing what I love doing, of getting together with people, having a party atmosphere. I love a good winemaker dinner, but a lot of my stuff, again, coming from that kind of ski resort, high-end culinary style where the food is great and it's a good party kind of atmosphere. Put out a buffet, put out a family-style dinner. Like I say, I love a good fine dining plated dinner, but I want to keep the energy. I want everybody having a good time and enjoying the food.
So when you sent out a text back then, text message when you said, "Hey, come over to my house Friday for a barbecue," you didn't get anybody saying, "Oh, sorry, got other plans." People are changing things and going to your place.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah, the sense of community and food. You get food and wine together, drink. I'm a big beer guy as well, and obviously the spirits scene is huge in Paso right now, North County as a whole. But going from a winery facility, renting a kitchen space, doing catering events for all the other neighbor wineries, an opportunity came about to open a brick and mortar, tucked away in an alley. A little hard to find. There it is. A little hard to find, but we are at the alley between Park and Pine, 12th and 13th.
What they call is Norma's Way.
We call it Norma's Way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also fortunate enough to be the president of the Paso Robles Downtown Main Street Association.
Oh.
So Norma's our executive director. She recruited me a few years back to join the board, and I've been in the president role for the past couple years, and we're working on doing some really cool things in Paso, getting the Paso Robles Main Street Association. Hopefully everyone knows what they do as far as being a great organization, helping the community, keeping an eye on making sure that there's amenities, reasons to come to the downtown district specifically. So being in Norma's Way, I had met Norma, when I was at Vinoteca. We were right behind her. So seeing the growth, man, from when the time I first got here to 2007 to opening up the restaurant in 2018.
So what was the restaurant before? Was it nothing? Was it just a storage?
Parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's our address is 819 12th Street. And another shout out to some local businesses. We have Kahuna's surf shop.
Okay.
Garrett and his family have had that for years. Then we have Jade, beautiful boutique, sweet boutique, and both those owners of those businesses are on.
But they're on the front side of the park, right?
They're 819 12th Street.
Okay.
And then above us we have
you have the warehouse
on the park. Yeah, it was the warehouse, and it's recently changed hands.
Okay.
So now it's called On the Park Salon and Suites. Shout out to those guys as well. That's a cool new spot. They're going to be having a grand opening here pretty shortly. But it's they're doing hair salon. There's a masseuse in there. I think the massage therapist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a few other cool things. So yeah, our space was just the parking lot for that building, and the owner of the building.
Interesting.
It was Robert Gelson. He owns the Hotel Cheval. That's where we met. I used to do a lot of consulting, and I kind of designed their menu when they first opened. So he was the guy that came to me in 2016 and said, "Hey man, I want to build something really cool in the alley. What do you think about this?" So he shows me these architectural drawings that were pretty cool, but they had like this glass enclosure. It had a fireplace. It had French doors. It looked like a really cool French bistro or something. It had this fine dining kind of feel to it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. This is we're tucked away in an alley.
Too much for downtown here?
I mean, we're not there. There's a dumpster over here. There's a dumpster over there. It's a gritty kind of location to have a fine dining restaurant. And as much as that was my background at the time, that was like, that's probably going to be a lot. And it still is a lot. But so I turned him down, and I'm going to keep up with Jeffrey's Catering, and my wife is involved by then, and we have a good team, and we're building out at Grey Wolf, our following. But we ended up getting pretty popular out at Grey Wolf because we're feeding so many of the folks that are going to the different wineries, and it got to be a lot.
The word got out,
right? Yeah. And it was all the careful what you wish for kind of mentality of we just got to a point at the Grey Wolf kitchen where it just started getting bigger than the facility could really handle, and timing is everything. So that's when Robert Gelson came back to me, which was a few months later, and showed me these new drawings. And these new drawings, he's like, yeah, you're right, that was going to be a little expensive, and check out these drawings. So this had the open air courtyard. It had a concrete fire pit in the middle, gas fire pit, and it had roll-up garage doors.
Wow.
So with the open air concept, it's all courtyard dining. So we got about 12 seats inside, but quite a bit more outside.
So for where you're at, did it take? I mean, obviously you had a following from Barton's or Grey Wolf, so it was easy for people to navigate and find you. But now, how do you pick up like newbies? How do you pick up people that, I mean, can't really just hey, let's go by and check out that place.
Right. The foot traffic is not nearly as good as what it is on 12th Street and Pine Street and Park Street. So you see in the picture we have this big vertical neon sign. It's strategically placed so it can be seen on 12th Street and Park and Pine.
But it has an arrow or something, right?
It's just a big sign. We the flame blinks in the wine glass as part of our logo. But I mean, what we have to do to keep new customers coming in as often as possible is continue to put out a good quality product, so our word of mouth stays as high as it can possibly be. And we're doing a live broadcast right here on the internet. The internet has changed the way business is done, and it's been that way for quite a while, but it's just continuing to grow. The more active you can stay on social media in any kind of way, social media and internet-based media is really taken off. So when we have folks passing through from San Francisco to LA or vice versa, they're coming in from the Valley, and they're looking for a place to eat, they're going on their phones, man, and they're trying to figure out what the best options are. So we do our best.
Do you think like your Google reviews and stuff like that, does that help you quite a bit for, what's the other one, Yelp and stuff like that? Do people still do that stuff?
You know what? They sure as heck do.
Do they?
It's always kind of astonishing to me as I'm at the restaurant and I'm touching tables and I'm checking on folks, trying to finding out how'd you find us, and sometimes I get the good old I was just walking down the alley and saw the sign, to I was on Yelp. You guys got we got some good reviews on Yelp and Google, but my favorites are the business next door told us, or we were out at this winery. All of the years of being in the wine community specifically and working, again, charity fundraisers and putting it out there. By the time we opened in the alley, again, it was hard to find, but we had a presence. So I like to believe that part of our growth and our sustainability, we've been 6 years and we're coming off the rain. The winter seasons are a struggle for a restaurant that is predominantly outdoor seating. But we have a great community that supports us with online orders. We do a fair amount. Again, I was a caterer, had a catering business, came from I call quality food production in the ski resort industry, and then getting into Paso to do the Mediterranean food. I got into barbecue because I saw that we had a need for it, and at the end of the day, I found a pellet smoker, and a good pellet smoker that you can smoke a tri-tip on, pork, pulled pork. When you think about, and where I was coming from the Mediterranean, diet and the Mediterranean style cuisine, barbecue is California cuisine. Obviously, Texas is gonna argue all day long.
Actually, that's funny story because they don't. I went to Texas and it was taco trucks everywhere. I could find a taco in a Mexican restaurant, no problem. A good barbecue place, it was so hard to find. I never did, and I never did find one.
We went to Austin in October 2018 after we'd opened. We opened the restaurant in June. Went to Austin. Went in line at Franklin Barbecue. Familiar? He's a James Beard award-winning chef, and the James Beard Awards are like the Academy Awards of the restaurant industry. But they're a fair amount. But yeah, are they quality? What it's hard. Barbecue is hard. I mean, it's one thing to I cook at the house for the family, and I love the sense of camaraderie that the barbecue world has.
Standing around the fire, drinking a beer.
Exactly. And when you're doing it for your family and your friends, and you're getting to do that in a professional setting, when we're doing, trying to feed, hundreds of people a day, it's a different kind of model. And I was doing this Mediterranean stuff, and we're cooking in the oven, and we're cooking open fire, and we're cooking wherever. I'm cooking wherever I can. I'm going off site to the wineries, and propane burners, and using whatever we can to kind of you talk about guerrilla catering kind of style. So I go down to a local box store down in San Luis Obispo, and I see these pellet smokers, and this guy's sales pitch was, "You ever seen one?" I'm like, "No, what is this, man?" And he's like, "Well, go on the internet, and they'll tell you all about it." Like,
great sales pitch.
You're a sales guy,
right?
Like they'll tell you more than I could ever tell you about it. It's a good machine, so I'm starting to taking it apart. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. A pellet smoker. It allows me to season my meat to whatever I want to season. So I make a house rub. We put it on there. I use a pellet mix, and since we've had the restaurant, I got a pellet guy out of the Central Valley that brings me a...
So you're putting together your own pellets as far as like seasoning and flavoring and...
Exactly. I treat our pellet program like the way a winery might treat its barrel program. You go to, again, Texas and a couple of the other folks that are able to pull off wood-fired barbecue. There is a art just to fire management, right? And I tip my hat to those guys that are able to tend the fire, get the smoke where it needs to go. That's a whole nother thing. So when you think about the pit masters around the country and around the world, Texas specifically has the kind of the big scene. It's a different beast. Their menu is always going to be simple. We're focusing on the meat and a couple of the basic sides. Well, for us, the restaurant, and how I got excited about I could smoke meat on a pellet smoker, and focus being in the kitchen. I don't have to tend the fire. I got to turn the dial. I got to make sure there's pellets in it.
Catches on fire.
I got to trim the meat. Yeah. I got to use my culinary skills and knowledge and expertise of how do we season things, and then treat it like a wood-fired oven. And that's what I kind of look at. What we're doing. I mean, there's other smokers that are gas-fired and they're still wood, and you see these big, beautiful smokers. But the pellet system has worked really nice for me and for the restaurant as a whole. And I mean, it's kind of funny. You take we're kind of jumping around from where the restaurant is. But before we opened the restaurant, the Jeffrey's Catering, we did the Mac and Cheese Fest. We were chatting a little bit about that before the show. Yeah, you're familiar with the Mac and Cheese Fest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, down in Navila.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've won that. What?
Several years.
Yeah. I mean, you're like the reigning champion.
Currently, the third place winner, coming off of the previous year, the first place winner. I've never gotten less than third, and in the how many years? I mean, I think we're coming up on
this is like
possibly. What do you think? 10, are we in the 8, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here you go.
You missed COVID.
Yeah, because we missed COVID.
Right.
So we're at there, because I've won first place 3 times, second place 3 times, third place 3 times. And I didn't make it to the very first one. That was when it was in Paso at La Vigne Winery. So they did it up in Paso the first 2 years. The second year it was in Paso, my wife and I, Jeffrey's Catering, representing American General Media, the big radio station company, is promoting this Mac and Cheese Fest, and we're just kind of new to town and wanted to do an event where I could showcase my food. So I created a dish called Paso Mac and Cheese Steak. Paso Mac and Cheese Steak is a little nod to my East Coast college days, but it's smoked tri-tip. I smoke the tri-tip, and then we dice it up, sauteed peppers and onions. Shout out to my culinary world. We brunoise the vegetables. It's a fine dice, 1/8 by 1/8 by 1/8 by 1/8. So I take sauteed peppers and onions and diced smoked tri-tip and mix it into our roasted garlic 5 cheese sauce. And
oh my gosh.
we crushed the event, man. It was, again, my wife and I, we had a couple friends who came to the event and saw that we're in the weeds. And they came and helped us out, and was fortunate enough to get the People's Choice Award and the Judge's Choice Award. And that was the year 2 of the event. So for the second year to have one chef win both, it was to a certain degree that kind of kicked us off, kicked the business off.
Now, do you go around and like say the year, third place or second place? Do you go and like find out and taste theirs and kind of dissect their mac and cheese to find out like what beat me? What did they have that I don't have?
I cannot say that I've ever done that. No, when it comes to what I do and what other guys do, I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing what I do. And to take a page out of the book, Kobe Bryant is a big inspiration. We're about the same age when he passed away, but the Mamba mentality is being the best version of yourself every day. So when it comes to culinary competitions and whatnot, or any kind of competition, I mean, you focus on what you're doing. You do what you do as well as you can. It's important to see what everyone else out there is doing, but I look at it more about how are they influencing people. Another great chef, Thomas Keller, it's the French Laundry up in Napa Valley, talks about there's no such thing as perfect food, only the idea of perfect food. So the goal is to make people happy. And as many people the more people you can make happy, the closer you are to creating perfect food. And I've always loved those two expressions kind of, put together. Be the best version of yourself, make food, make people happy, find a passion in it. And being a cook, being a chef is definitely a passion of mine. Getting into the restaurant world and doing the business side of it, yeah, that's a whole nother beast. And I have an amazing wife who helps. She is the general manager. I'm the executive chef and the sommelier or beverage director, and we work as a team. And I'm super blessed and fortunate to have a wife that's a business partner in that. But to sidestep, to go back to those questions about like being at these events and seeing what everybody else is doing, raising the bar of the culinary world is what it's all about, to win a competition. So yeah, to see what these other guys are doing, and this guy did the Chili Verde one, and people love that one. I've done one with Brisket, and I've won awards on it. So it's always about kind of gauging the community, gauging the customer, and engaging the customer.
Yeah, you obviously, summertime is probably the mac and cheese. So are you cultivating what you're doing, and,
yes,
and you're going to be unleashing there at the Mac and Cheese Fest this year? Can you give us a hint?
Every year, I've done a different one.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of that. To be on the podium, if you will, for 9 of the 10 years that they've done it, more or less. It's always been a different mac and cheese. This is the time of year where we start kind of thinking about it, and we just had our first culinary charity fundraising cooking competition. This was this past couple weeks ago here. We had the Jalapeno and Vino charity fundraiser. Great local North County charity for the Paso Robles Children's Museum at the old fire station, right? So we did, I did Jalapeno, right?
Delicious.
Coming off of, I got a barbecue restaurant. We're winning mac and cheese awards. That's one of our signature dishes. Jump back into some Mediterranean roots and do the Jalapeno. And I was fortunate to get People's Choice and Judge's Choice at that one.
Oh, right on! Congratulations.
So that was like the first festival of the year, you know, here in March. Now we start gearing up for. We got the Firestone Invitational. You're familiar with that? That's a big one.
Huge event.
That's the one that haven't gotten the win yet.
How many times you been?
Almost all of them that they've been, you know, I'd say 6, 7. Thinking back on it, there's during couple years had to miss. I think the first couple years we had the restaurant, but the past couple years it's been a super fun event.
You haven't been able to knock in on the top there.
You got Gaucho, Fish Gaucho, and gets the win. Has gotten several wins this past year. Benny's. It's not a North County thing. It's Benny's Pizza down in San Luis, but he's infiltrated the whole county. And
so what is that one's focus? What's the food? Just anything, whatever you bring?
At the Firestone Beer Fest, yeah, that's it's even. I mean, it's a beer festival for sure, and it's to a lot of folks, it's kind of a little known. Yeah, there's an opportunity to go on your app and vote for your favorite restaurant or favorite bite.
Gotcha.
But that's Firestone, and then we got another favorite, the Paso Pinot and Paella Festival. You familiar with paella?
I'm not. Tell me about it.
Can I educate you a little bit on the world of paella is the national dish of Spain, but it's such a fantastic wine country. I mean, it's a great dish no matter what you are, but it's a big pan, about a couple 3-4 inches deep, but they're always really big and wide. And it's a rice dish. So it starts out with rice, and then if you're on the coast, you're going to use mussels and clams and calamari and whatever white fish is fresh. If you're up in the Spanish hillside, you're going to use snails. You're going to use venison. You're going to use rabbit, a lot of rabbit. So paella is a super famous and well-known dish in Spain. It is I've kind of equated it to the American casserole. And I say that because the casserole dish and the paella pan, right? Both of these are the vessels that you cook the meal in are the names of the dish, a casserole or a paella pan. So with the paella pan, it's rice, and then again, if you're on the coast, it's seafood. If you're in the mountains, whatever. But there's a famous version called the Paella Valencia. I always kind of screw that up. But it's from the Valencia region of Spain.
Okay.
They're super passionate about their paella. Well, we're in Paso Robles, California. We have the Pinot and Paella Festival. This is a charity fundraiser for the Paso Robles Youth Arts Foundation. I think it's their biggest festival of the year. So you'll get, I guess it's 15 or so wine producers that make Pinot Noir. And that's not a lot here in Paso, considering how much wines we got in the whole county. But small Pinot Noir producers. Then we'll have 8 to 15 chefs. Usually this past couple years, it's been 12 to 15 chefs, I guess, making our own versions of paella. And then it's 500 people, sells out every year, and it's always they started bringing a Judge's Choice Award too, but there's a People's Choice and a Judge's Choice Award. And anytime I'm doing a food festival, if you will, competition, food festival kind of vibe, and there's a People's Choice Award, that's the most valued award that I'm looking for. The Judge's Choice, God bless them, 3-4 judges over there. I hope you like my food as well.
Right.
But I'm looking for the people. I
Sure.
want to stir that kind of excitement. So the Paso Pinot and Paella Festival, I started making my version of paella. I researched we're going back to 2009, 9 or 10 was probably my first year doing it. And I kind of did a kitchen sink paella. Rice, I think I used homemade venison sausage that I had made. I definitely brought in some rabbit. And it turned out, you're familiar with risotto, the Italian rice dish, risotto. So risotto is different than paella quite a bit, but it's similar rice, small grains. Anyway, both super delicious. Point being, I'm making my version of paella. Well, you got 15 other chefs making their version of paella, and the people are going to vote on who their favorite is. I missed the first year, took a break, figured out a recipe, brought it back, and won it 3 years in a row. Took a break, came back and won it 3 years in a row, and then I took another break, and then the reigning champs now. So paella has been a signature dish, and it's a one-pan dish. You'd love this dish. You got to check out, if you guys are checking out social media, we're watching these on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I do paella videos. I started calling it hashtag Paella Sunday.
Oh, and you're just cooking live there?
I was cooking live, cooking the paella. Sometimes I'm rapping with the folks, watching the live videos, but and our community supports us in a great way, and we have some great fans. So I've gotten a few hundred views, throughout the years. I kind of started during COVID, right? A lot of people started transitioning from
into video.
I'm bored out of my mind. I gotta watch.
Sure.
Right. So started that, and then a couple. I guess we're coming up on like December 22nd or the first week of December, maybe somewhere in there. I had a paella video hit like 500,000 views. I think now we're up to like 870 something.
Wow.
Excuse me, some odd thousand views, because the video went viral and it's in Spain. So the power of social media and the power of a viral video, and then how passionate people can be when they're watching me cook their signature dish of their region. Well, I'm not doing it right, and a lot of
just bagging on you.
Oh, can you believe it? Yeah,
throwing all kinds of wrenches at you that you're doing it wrong, cutting it wrong,
for sure.
Wrong seasoning. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing, and it puts a smile on my face because we have a fantastic fan base, and I do it for a lot of events, to this day. We'll have to talk about it. Maybe one of these days, get on a show and we'll do a little live cooking demo.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we could literally just talk like this stuff. I mean, not only you got the restaurant, not only you got the catering, but you're also part of the downtown association. So you've got that tool in your belt. Yeah. You're heavily involved in the community. So I mean, there's so many different pathways that we could go down in our interview. So like I said, focusing on, Jeffrey's wine country barbecue. Yeah, wine country barbecue, obviously is our focus. But I mean, literally, you got all these, ties, to the community and our area and these competitions, and it's such a great, it's a great story, and the journey, is amazing, from Mammoth, to Rhode Island, out to California.
That's right.
And then everything in between.
Yeah.
So
we've been fortunate. We love our community. Again, being here since '07, when I was in the ski resort world, living in places like Mammoth and whatnot. You had to live somewhere for 20 years before they would grant you the locals.
Give you a pass.
Yeah. Are you a local? Not until you've been here for 20 years. So I've always kind of adhered to that mantra, and I'm getting close.
Well, you're pretty dang close.
Pretty dang close.
And you've seen the culinary, industry just in the North County change like night and day since you started, since you came here, really, and specifically, downtown Paso Robles. You've seen restaurants, you've seen restaurants come and go. You've seen like your standard barbecue places, standard restaurants, but you've seen a lot of new chefs, new culinary, new foods, exotic foods coming into the market, and it just seems like there's not it's not like too much. You know what I'm saying?
There's so much room.
A place like yours, being that it's kind of the hidden gem, it's almost like the speakeasy, of the barbecue places, really. But it's not like you're deprived of guests and customers coming in, because it's just like, people love your food, and they maybe touch somewhere else, and then they come back, and you're able to get out there into their mouths, so to speak, at these competitions as well, and build your base.
Yeah, that's exactly. Being the hidden gem, being in town for now 6 years. One of my favorite things is there's folks that are moving to North County and have only been here for 5-6 years, 3-4 years. I mean, they're coming in by droves, and they're building all the housing to accommodate these folks. But there's people in the community that only know downtown Paso with our restaurant. My wife and I, Jeffrey's. I go back to Artisan from when I moved here. That restaurant was the start of it. Now, you could take it back, because I've been here long enough. I know a little bit about the history. Could you share with me what you might think? There was a restaurant, Cahoots Catering had a restaurant in downtown Paso that was all the rage in, I guess, the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. I hear about a place called Boozy's. I think that was a restaurant. We're going into a little bit of history before my time that I can't speak of, so I'll go back to I moved here in 2007, and Artisan.
Right.
And they were in the location that is now the Paso Grill. And that was really the first attention that we got as a region. This restaurant got with a James Beard nomination. They were getting a lot of accolades from Southern California to Northern California, and that was at a time where San Francisco hadn't quite caught on. We get a lot of tourism from the Central Valley and Santa Barbara County, Ventura County, Orange County, but they were getting a lot of accolades. So Artisan opened, and then they moved locations, and we started seeing different restaurants, kind of come and go. Some staples that have been able to stand the test of time. Unagi's one that I can think of. But there's been a lot of evolution. So by the time we had an opportunity to open a restaurant in downtown, in an alley, between a couple dumpsters, in a hard-to-find location with only outdoor seating, what is the vibe that my wife and I wanted to create? And that's where the term wine country barbecue comes about. I always say we're not Texas barbecue, and we're not even Santa Maria style barbecue. And with the Mediterranean, my background, wine country barbecue is a term that I use that kind of is all encompassing. We open the menu. We're doing ribs, and we're doing chopped brisket. Our beans are fantastic. The mac and cheese, you can get a bunch of different versions of the mac and cheese. But at the same point, we're doing paella. We just did a killer lasagna special for At Her Table, which was another county-wide Women's History Month celebration. So it was about opening a restaurant that could be as diverse as we can, culinarily wise, if you will, and that's one of my biggest issues, is that I keep putting on a special, and I get requests to have it back, and then our menu, it just expands and expands and expands, and so it's all about trying to make sure that we can have a timely service, because our menu is pretty big.
But are you still having fun doing it?
No doubt about it. It's working with the sense of team that I have is something that's really, really special. We're always looking to hire. I mean, most places are. You're always looking for the right people. I can train someone to be a cook. A great expression I just heard relatively recently is, cooks make food, chefs make cooks. And I've taken that to heart, especially recently, and just it's tough times. The job market is a little bit difficult. Finding good people to work with you in this day and age. I mean,
and you guys have been hit from every which direction in the last few years too. So
COVID comes here, and the rainstorms come here, and the parking program that we don't like talking about. It's and so what do? We bob and we weave, and always trying to innovate to the best, of our ability. And we're, the definition of a mom and pop, small business.
Awesome.
My wife, myself, our daughters are. I have two wonderful stepdaughters that have been in their life since they were 8 and 10, and now they're 22 and 24. And they are in the industry, but they're down in Southern California. So having a family business of my wife and I, and who we bring in on our team, we have a fantastic team right now looking to expand it. Anybody out there looking for some work? We have a good opportunity to open up a new spot in our courtyard. Hopefully in the next few months, we're going to be opening up the corner office, cafe, and wine bar. So this is it's in our courtyard. It used to be a tasting room, and the Blake from Alamar, tip of the hat to Blake, a great winemaker and great wines, great dude. Just got to move into an 11th Street location. So he's got the street side, walk by traffic. This corner spot has always been a little bit difficult for a couple wineries to, you got to promote that you're in Jeffrey's courtyard. So that's cool for us. But we decided to take the plunge and take over the lease of this space. And we're going to have a cafe, wine shop, wine bar. I'm looking forward to being able to offer our community whole smoked tri-tips, ready to go, vacuum sealed, whole smoked,
nice.
Ready to go. Different side salads, kind of bringing back some of the Mediterranean influence I have. Our barbecue is scratch made and fresh, but eating barbecue every day is a lifestyle. And,
it is.
It's
it's
not diet food.
Yeah, but that's the community. That's where we live.
Yeah.
We live in barbecue country.
Yes, sir.
You go anywhere else in California, anywhere else in the world. Tri-tip, they're like, what? You want tri-tip? What is that? Here, it's like tri-tip. It's like that's what you want. That's
what you want.
That's the draw.
Exactly right. The way we do tri-tip at the restaurant on the smoker. It's not Santa Maria style. I've used that term that we cook tri-tip the way Texas would do it if they did it. But
right.
Texas is all about the brisket, and for California, I grew up on tri-tip, so I season it with our house rub. Goes on the smoker low and slow, 180 to 225 degrees, and I'll cook a tri-tip to 130 medium rare, 130, 135 degrees for about 3.5 hours.
Oh man, I'm starving.
Tell you what,
I love
next
tri-tip.
time we do something like this.
Yeah,
bring some food. Do some cooking demos, and you gotta come to the shop.
Well, like I said, we'll definitely. I mean, I had that post a couple weeks ago, and you're like, hey, come down to Wine Country Barbecue down here, and it's just one of those things. We live in this this world like this. We're just channeled. And unless something just doesn't jump out at you, I mean, and I'm a creature of habit, so I've been to some of those places. Not to say that yours is by any means, but you've been to those places, and it's like I know where I like, and I know that's good. You know what I'm saying? And you try to deviate a little bit from there, and you're just like
sometimes you get burned.
You just get disappointed. It's like all right, I'm going back to my my normal place. But
another one of my kind of mantras has been to undercommit and over-deliver.
Sure.
Right? And we're just a modest little barbecue restaurant in an alley. A little hard to find, but once you walk down the alley, you see our open-air courtyard. Now that we're getting in the springtime soon enough, we can't wait. I know all this rain has been great for the agriculture community, and I've always been a big fan until these past 2 years. And man, tell you what, it slows us down. Again, it's hard to eat out. It's hard to eat great food outside if it's raining.
When it's cold, raining.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey, tell me, are you open every day? What are your hours of operation there?
We're 5 day a week. We're
Okay.
5 day a week mom and pop business. We're closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We're working on trying to figure out how we can make adjustments to that. So please don't hold us to it. But we started opening 6 days a week prior to COVID. COVID shut us down to 2 days a week, and there's a quality of life that we're trying to attain, and it's difficult to find good quality employees and people that want to work with us. And we're beer and wine only. We don't have a full liquor license, which is really difficult to get in this county anyway. So the profitability of being food and wine and beer is a little tough. So we're currently 5 days a week, closed Tuesday, Wednesdays, but we're open Thursday through Monday, 11 a.m. to kitchen closes at 8 on the weekdays, 8:30. What I'd like to see is if the community and our customer base gives us a reason to stay open later. That's something I'm entertaining. But Paso is still kind of a town that everybody kind of gets out. We get hit really hard right in that 6, 7 o'clock hour, and we're a counter service restaurant. So that's as opposed to needing reservations. A lot of the restaurants in downtown Paso, if you didn't get it, especially as we get into the summer months, if you don't have a reservation, a month or so out, the chance of getting in are slim. That's another reason we have been able to be as successful as we are in the summertime when the weather's all nice, because you can get in, you're going to get in line, you're going to get in line, and we're going to do everything we can to expedite your experience and have a good time. But we are not a fast food restaurant. We are a counter service restaurant. So we ask that our customers begin the order at the counter. That's able to help me save a little on labor, and as you may or may not know, the restaurant business is extremely tough. Margins are really thin. You have
to hustle, man.
You gotta
hustle and get out there and provide that great service. And that's kind of probably meeting you and seeing your personality. That's probably what brings people back. And then the food is just the icing on the cake.
Right. It's always about that that balance of making good food. I have a great culinary team, and as the executive chef, I'm always overseeing the food that we're putting out, but at the same point being the sommelier. We're a counter service restaurant, and I'm the beverage director. Proud that just this past August decided to go back to school, and I earned a master's degree in the field of wine and beverage management, and that's from the Culinary Institute of America, the CIA. If you will. The Culinary Institute of America is a premier culinary hospitality beverage school in the country, arguably the world. They have a property in Singapore, a campus, I should say. So my undergraduate degree is from Johnson & Wales, and my master's degree now is from the Culinary Institute of America, and those are the two premier food, beverage, hospitality schools. So having the formal education that gives me a little bit of confidence in that I know at least the theories of the business, and then you get into the real life world of why are customers going, why do they love us, compared to why other places. And you mentioned it earlier about coming downtown and you're being a creature of habit and going to these places that are great, but we want to provide a downtown experience where people can come to us. They're going to come to town for 3-4 days. I get this from the ski resort mentality, which was very much the same. We wanted them to go to your place for dinner here and go to your place for lunch here, and make sure that every restaurant experience, every hospitality experience in the greater downtown Paso area is as great as it can be. Really, the sense of community and the rising tides and rising boats and all the cliches about what we all need to do to work together as a community in the restaurant scene, in the hospitality scene is really important to me. Being part of Main Street Association, and then touching bases with all of the other general managers and restaurant owners. I think we have a really great team of restaurant owners and managers. It's a tough business, like I say, when we're always wanting to, make sure that the locals, know that we're here for you. You guys are definitely the reason that we're all in business. Is as long as we are. Then we are as we get in the summer and wine country tourism starts to dominate. It gets a little bit difficult for some of the locals to be able to come out because some of the restaurants are just slam packed.
Yeah, just jam packed.
Yeah, but we have things in January and February, and we do things to always entice the locals. So it's that's my shout out to the North County community and the folks that support the restaurants and the coffee shops and the cafes and the wine bars and the breweries. It's so much a part of what our community is all about, getting together, that sense of camaraderie, talking about the agriculture industry or the beef, what's going on
everything.
with farmers.
For sure.
It's a agriculture kind of community, so I'm always happy to be a part of it as a chef, rapping with these guys and giving them a reason to come out and hang out with us, sit around the fireplace.
Very cool.
Very cool. I brought you some beverage stuff, so this will help you remember.
Yeah, that's a great whiskey cup right there.
Right.
Or coffee, I guess.
I guess you could put coffee in it, but as far as a whiskey cup, so this is the morning brew to help you remember, and then this is your afternoon.
Yeah,
beverage.
there you go. Got to keep the moisture inside, so that way it keeps the cans nice and cold.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Randy,
like I said, we can go on for hours, really. And we're definitely going to have to get you back on, because there's a lot of stuff that I did, in my mind that I wanted to chat about. But like I said, we can go on again for another, couple hours because of just the history and everything that you have down there. But we appreciate, your community involvement, and being a part of all these, these fundraisers and everything. So, speaking from the community, we appreciate you. And like I said, I got to try the barbecue. I got to try the brisket, got to try the pellet. I got to try it all. So
yes, sir. Got to get you down there.
We appreciate you coming on. And like I said, maybe we'll get you on before the mac and cheese and see if we can get a little taster of that and see what's happening.
Deal.
Awesome.
It's a deal.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on.
Hey, take care.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure if you have not discovered this little gem in Paso Robles, Jeffry Wine Country Barbecue, located in Norma's Way. If you know where Pine Street Saloon is, just walk across the street and go down there between the buildings and look for the big Jeffrey sign. Big neon sign, you can't miss it. You don't want to miss this, guys. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wines, Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, Santo Brothers Plumbing, Pacific 805 Spas, Hanson Enterprises, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, and Airflow Filter Services. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, welcome to Kennedy Club Fitness, where we have something for everyone. We have weights, cardio, group exercise classes, racquetball, basketball, swimming, and pickleball coming soon. Here at Kennedy, we're committed to health, wellness, and community. Stop by any of our 4 locations, Paso Robles, Atascadero, San Luis Obispo, and Arroyo Grande, or check out our website at kennedyclubs.com.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
What's up, North County? Nate Santos here. owner of Santos Bros Plumbing. You might recognize me with my dancing horses at local events such as the Tascadero Tamale Festival, Templeton 4th of July, and Paso Pioneer Day. I am now available for all your home plumbing service and repair needs, from minor drips and drops to emergency leaks and clogs. For the best plumbing service, call Santos Bros Plumbing, pipe wranglers to the rescue.